Hey Hotshots, Jess with Emotional Fire Academy here today to talk about your beliefs or strategy. Welcome, subscribe to my channel if you are someone who wants to become the best thing that ever happened to you. That's what we do here. We give you tools and strategies to do just that. Welcome, I am Jess. I'm happy you're here. If you're new here, welcome. We've had a lot of new subscribers. I'm so excited to talk about this today. This is kind of a metacognitive approach that most people just aren't even aware of, right? Part of becoming the best version of you is becoming aware of why you do the things you do, and this is one of them. So I have a question for you. Why do you believe what you believe? Why do you think something is true? How does that happen? Now, if you kind of dig down into it, we're going to get into this in just a second, but most people will say because it's true, because it's true, because it's true, because it's backed by science, because I've seen evidence of it, because it feels right to me. It feels right to me, and that's fine. But you'll start to see, why do I believe the things I believe? And this is easier on the individual belief level. If we can identify one belief and then say, why do I believe this? Often it's in service to some truth. So there's this slight victimhood in there, if you can feel that. Because we're serving the truth, right? We believe that the truth is holding greater power over what we say is true, what we want to actually believe. And oftentimes it boils down to, especially the beliefs that make us feel good, that feel holistic to us, that feel in service to ourselves. I'm not talking about those beliefs. It's often the beliefs, the limiting beliefs, the ones that make us feel bad. It's like, well, I believe this, it makes me feel bad, but it's true. There's that, but it's true. Those are the ones that we need to examine why we are allowing those beliefs in our conditioning, right? On the bottom of the fire triangle, because that's where beliefs are. They're in our conditioning. They're part of the constructed truth that we manufacture. We manufacture it every day. But often we put beliefs in there that are in service to some truth. The truth. What is truth? We really have to start to examine what is truth. Because when you go to that belief, think about a limiting belief that you have about yourself, or maybe a negative belief that you have about yourself. I once held the belief that nothing works out for me. I had that belief and I really believed it. And then I saw evidence in my reality of nothing works out for me. This was a painful belief. And so let's distill it down. Why would I agree to that being true? It's like, well, I see evidence of it. Evidence is neutral. Any stimulus that we find, that we see, that we experience in the outside world is actually neutral. It's the meaning, the significance that we put on top of it that then becomes truth, right? Because things don't inherently contain truth in and of themselves. Events, people, places, things. There is no truth inherent in them. We give them truth. We assign them truth by making them a piece of evidence that supports our belief. We assign that. But yet sometimes, unconsciously when we're doing this, when we're living life and we're distracted with other things, we're not aware we're doing that. And so a lot of these negative impacting beliefs that we hold because we think they're true are actually based in, they're fear-based or pain-based. And let's distill that belief down. Nothing works out for me. Why would I subscribe to that? So if I dig into that, it allowed me to feel like a victim. It was an enabling thought to make me feel like a victim. It kept me from, it was part of my not wanting to, a fear of success. This deep down fear of success. If I succeeded, that would be a bad thing. So if I fail all the time, I'm okay with that. Then people feel bad for me. And So often we find that we accept these negative beliefs. We accept them and allow them to be true for us because deep down, there's something even deeper than that belief, right? We're allowing it to be true because there's something even deeper. Oftentimes it's social rejection, right? If I don't believe this is true, then people are going to reject me. They're going to think I'm delusional. They're going to think, my family won't accept me. It's a social rejection fear underneath that belief. So that you're allowing the belief because deep down, and this is really deep work. I mean, to be really honest with yourself on this level takes a lot of personal power and responsibility. So if you're not there yet, that's okay. But I suspect if you're watching this channel, you are there. So really digging into, why am I allowing this to be true? Why do I allow this belief to be true? What does it get me? What does it protect me from? Many negative beliefs are protective. Let's go back to the nothing works out for me. If nothing works out for me, then I already saw it coming, right? I already saw rejection, failure. I already saw it coming and I protected myself so I didn't get excited to think that something would actually work out for me. See, when I say that and I reconnect to that old belief I have, I don't have that belief anymore. But I really identified with that belief at one time, a few years ago. So talking about it and putting myself back into those shoes, that really, when I say that, you'll feel that resonance inside of yourself of like, wow, there's a deeper truth. That there is the deeper truth to that, why I would hang on to that belief. Because your beliefs are a strategy. What's a strategy? To get what you want. You do something to get what you want. Action, doing this action equals I'm expecting this outcome, either an emotional outcome or an outward outcome, a circumstantial outcome. So realizing, who or what does this belief serve? Am I serving truth? Am I putting truth outside of me and giving it power? Many people do this with science. Well, science said this. Well, guess what? Next week, science is going to say the opposite thing. Scientists are human beings. They have their own intentions and motivations. They're using their own strategies to create science, to generate science. It doesn't matter how objective they're trying to be. They're still worried about, where's my grant money coming from? Who am I going to piss off with this information? Who's going to be happy or not happy about my findings? I mean, these are all things that they might not be aware of on an unconscious level because they're human too. They're doing the same thing. They're running their own strategies. So things that are proven or disproven. And again, we can't really prove anything in science according to, isn't that one of the tenets of science? We can't prove, we can only disprove. So again, be careful even being in service to science. You're giving it all of your power. Or statistics. The outcome of this actually happening is low. So what? Who says you can't be the exception? Who says you can't be the exception to the rule? Somebody has to be that 2% exception. Why not you? So again, these subtle layers of giving our power away. We're constantly giving our power away in ways that we don't even have awareness of. I didn't either. And every day I recognize, I'm like, whoa, power leak. So starting to realize, what's your strategy? What is your strategy for what you believe? Moving from a place of, I'm honoring the truth. I'm trying to be as true as possible so that people don't reject me, so they don't think I'm delusional. It's like, whatever. People are going to do that regardless of what you believe. Because sometimes, a lot of the times, it has to do with what's happening in their head. They're following their own strategies, and then we misinterpret it as something to do with us. But, so start to recognize, what's my strategy in believing this? When we have a belief that doesn't feel good, we've identified it, and we're trying to change it. That's when we can, I just lost my train of thought. When we're trying to change it, we can look for evidence, right? How do we change beliefs? We look for evidence. Our bodies like evidence, our minds like meaning. So, we change the meaning, we change the story. And then we look for evidence that either in our own lives or outside of ourselves. And usually there's just as much evidence for that belief, that negative belief, to be the contrary, right? The polar opposite of that belief. There is evidence in your life and in the world for the opposite of that belief to be true. For everything to be working out for me. In that instance, everything was working out for me. Everything was working out for me. It was leading me to this. It was leading me to this moment. It was leading me to my own, internal emotional awakening and empowerment. It was leading me to this because, a lot of the things that weren't working out were things I deep down didn't really want. I didn't want them. Like they weren't aligned with who I was and my purpose and, what felt really good to me. I was just going through the motions and trying to make something happen that I didn't really want. So of course it wasn't working out for me. So see how we can, and being really honest with ourselves, looking for contrary evidence of how is the opposite also true? To start to change those beliefs and really take control of them because they're a strategy to get what we want and really aligning, identifying what is our strategy. So I've said how, many of our beliefs, if they've been in service to truth, which we're constructing ourselves, taking power for that, taking our power back, but moving it to, what is my bigger strategy? Zoom out of yourself. What does my strategy want? What do I want it to be? Instead of having beliefs that I feel like I have to believe or I'm afraid not to believe because people will reject me, moving from that to what's my bigger strategy here? Do I want to feel good? Emotional well-being. Do I want to feel good? This isn't like toxic positivity. This is like genuine, I want to feel good. My feeling state, my, how I feel every day is my number one priority. And so when I made that transition, I was like, I don't care, I'm not going to be in service to truth anymore. I'm going to believe the things that feel good to me. You make this huge jump. Again, this is part of moving from surviving to thriving. Believing things you don't want to believe that feel shitty to believing things that you do want to believe because they feel good, because they feel resonant with who you are, because they make you happy, they bring you joy. It's part of cleaning up our cognitive strategies, aligning. If my bigger strategy is I want to feel good, emotional well-being, then I need to manicure the sides of the triangle. I can't see how if my ultimate strategy is I want to feel good, I want to have emotional well-being, but I'm holding this belief that nothing works out for me. This is how most people are stuck, unhappy, unfulfilled, because they have these beliefs that aren't congruent with their bigger strategy. And they wonder why there's all this stickiness, and because you can sense it when there's a lot of dissonance in all of this from your bigger emotional strategy. You're going to feel it. You feel it in your body. You see it in the results you get in life. You feel it. It's obvious to you, but you can't put your finger on it. You don't know how to point it out. So yeah, you got to get all this other stuff on board, like your physiology. Where are you putting your attention? Where's your attention going? If your bigger strategy is emotional well-being, and you are directing your attention to the problems in your life, all the things that are going wrong, does that support your bigger strategy? I just want to make you aware. I wasn't aware that this is how it all worked. Same thing with our language. If your bigger emotional strategy is emotional well-being, and you're telling crappy stories all the time or labeling things as a problem or complaining, or does that support your bigger emotional strategy? Like, what is your real strategy? So, some food for thought today. I hope this was helpful. So recognize your bigger strategy. What's your bigger strategy? What is the most important thing to you emotionally? Is it to be right? Well, then your beliefs might reflect, you want to be as true as possible. And is it to be, feel good? What's your bigger emotional strategy for the beliefs that you hold, for the truth that you allow? because you're allowing the truth. You're constructing the truth. At the end of the day, the only real truth goes back to, I think, therefore I am. The awareness of having an experience is the only real truth. And we know that because we're in it. We're in the experience of it. So it has a certainty and a realness that is kind of undeniable. The rest is speculation. Everything else is speculation, right? Whether the world is a real place or a simulation, it's a speculation. So which strategy are you going to use? Which belief feels good? I live in a world, and this is also part of, where I really got on board with manifesting, was which belief makes me feel the best, that I have the power, that I can shape reality and my outcomes, and this is a simulation. That feels really good. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to find evidence to support that. Versus, I'm a tiny cog, nothing works out for me, the world is against me, I can't make this work, this is really hard, I'm suffering, those beliefs, and then seeing that evidence and living in that version of reality, because that's the truth that we're allowing. So, some things to think about, just awareness today. So thanks for watching. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought. And if you need help with this, cleaning this up, bring this into, eliminating some of the sticky points in this and going deeper into emotional mastery, check out my Emotional Mastery mini course. It's still only $7. Might not be that way forever, so grab it while it is still affordable. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.